to the LFG Pats Pod with your hosts, Joe and Mike. Let's go!
All right, welcome into the LFG Pats Pod. This is episode 13. Mike and I are finally back in the lab, back in the studio. We both had some good vacation time. Mike's pulling up the calculator of his. Great.
Yeah, I'm really doing it the right way. I'm starting off the right way.
But yeah, so we're back from vacation and we're in the dead zone, but we got a lot of great stuff coming up. Before we get into that, we've been saying swag forthcoming forever, but swag is finally here.
It's here.
Yep, John D. Donato and Impact really came through, even with the holiday and everything. And so we have a website. It's up. We've put it all over social media. Now, just a few things to remember. So the T-shirts are going to be, $40 with shipping and everything. It might come out to like $50, but you're getting a T-shirt. You're getting a ticket to Rogue Island. So Rogue Island Kitchen and Bar is one of our sponsors. You've heard about them quite a bit. But Ryan Bissett over at Rogue Island and Kitchen and Bar is hooking us up. It's gonna be a great event. So we're doing it before the Bills Patriots game, the away game, right? So it's going to be a tailgate. The game starts at, I believe, 8? But
8:20ish, yeah.
Yeah, so we're going to start the tailgate podcast around 6:30, 7 o'clock, probably run for about an hour. But it's going to be a chance for us, family, friends, and obviously fans of the podcast to really check it out and see what kind of goes on behind the scenes and give us their impressions on the season, right? So
it's going to be a party.
It's going to be a party. Ryan's going to have drink specials. He's going to have a lot of stuff flying around. It's going to be great. So, yes, you are paying a little extra for a T-shirt and a hoodie and a sweatshirt and a hat and whatever else you're buying. But just think of it as you're supporting the podcast. One, Mike and I have completely grassroots funded this whole thing between him and I.
Yeah, we didn't do any fundraisers or Kickstarters, none of that stuff.
And so, we just bought a new camera, so we have better kind of color and picture. We have some nice mics. We're dying to get new boom arms. These boom arms, we're going to have an office space moment with these things. We're going to, take it out to a field and start bashing these things into the ground.
Their time will come. We might just have a sword fight with
something.
them.
We're going to do something with these boom arms because they're the bane of both of our existence.
Yeah, they're the worst.
But yeah, so that's a way for you guys to help us. We're making a little bit of money off of it, but you're going to get a lot out of it as well. I don't know.
It's all going back in.
Yeah, and we're buying extra too, so we're going to get some extra T-shirts. Mike and I will be at training camp, so I just landed a new gig, thankfully, but we're not starting until end of July, and so Mike and I are going to be there almost every day as much as we can.
Doing some meet and greets, try to meet some of the other local podcasters, do some interviews of some fans coming in, their outlook on the season, predictions, all that good stuff.
All that fun stuff. So yeah, so it's going to be pretty lively. And
so hopefully they don't kick us out.
Yeah, exactly. And then this is where we get, Mike and I have both said to each other, look, we're going to hopefully make some money on this gear, and we're going to reinvest it. We're going to put it right back into the show. Neither of us want to put money in our pockets. We already got, cool different things we want to buy to help promote and help make interviewing and a lot of things cooler, lapel mics, all kinds of stuff. So anyways, that's our spiel on that. Again, Impact Brand and Marketing. These guys are great. These guys have been amazing to work with. If you guys get a chance, if you need like company things, whether it's polos or whatever.
I will be wearing that swag in the next episode. I promise you that much. It is on the way right now as we speak.
And you get some gifts. We paid for some extra gifts too, so you get a little bit of a gift. You get the ticket to Rogue Island. It's great. So that's great. So both of our sponsors have been helping us out. We got events coming with both of our sponsors. All good in the hood. So as far as the agenda goes, so we have a packed agenda today, a lot to talk about. Even in the off season, we have Diggs, Cardi B drama. We got Diggs, all kinds of people talking all different things. Greg Bedard, a bunch of different people saying, is he going to be on the team? Here we go again, right? Back to the pink pouch and the pink what ended up being, I think, a Bic lighter.
Which Joe just told me today was a pink lighter. I'm not so sure. I might have to double check the tape.
Whatever. To me, it doesn't matter. The guy's partying.
No.
But he seems locked. We'll get into it. Anyways, So that's the first topic. Topic 2 is there's a little bit of a second-round pick conundrum going around. And
it affects us.
It affects us. Our buddy Nick Caserio over there with the Texans kind of hosed us, but we'll get into that. And then topic 3 will be the Patriot playoff odds. So there's a lot of crazy stuff going on when it comes to the Vegas and, with how the Patriots are being predicted right now. And it just seems crazy to me with some of the teams that are above us. And so we're going to get into that. But yeah, so why don't we start with our first topic? So, Mike, I know there's been a lot of news with Diggs and Cardi B and
Yeah, and I'm like, look at me. I'm the last person in the world that like.
You seem like a Cardi B enthusiast.
Yeah, I'm a follower, and I'm all that stuff. I'm all over it.
You know all the lyrics, right?
Yeah, you know me with social media. We're like this.
I've seen you twerking before.
Big time. Funny story. When we were in Punta Cana, there was a waiter who would drive around on a bike with a margarita on his head, and he would dive off the bike into the pool with the thing still on his head and start twerking inside of the pool.
With it still on his head?
With it still on his head.
Oh, my Lord.
And this man made a whole lot of money because everybody just...
what do you
everybody wanted like him to wait on them just so he could give them the show. So that's my complete non sequitur into that. As far as Cardi B, I know nothing about her. I know she's a pop musician, a rather controversial artist. I thought it was a rather controversial pairing, her and Stephon Diggs. Somebody that high profile dating a member of the Patriots always makes me a little bit uncomfortable.
Right.
Because there's always things that come in the news that are extracurricular, and guess what? That's exactly what happened. So whatever their relationship is fine, but it's funny how it gets brought into the NFL conversation about his ability and future in the NFL
it's
due to the high-profile nature of whatever relationship he is or is not in. So we've gotten anything from... I've gotten reports that he's a candidate to be the comeback player of the year. And then you get on the polar opposite, like you said, Greg Bedard over there pontificating like he does. He was speculating about, well, if they could trade for another number one, I could totally see them shipping him out. It's purely hypothetical, but I could see it, and I'm like, well, how is that going to work exactly? You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I know everybody wants Terry McLaurin. I get it. He's not coming here, all right? We're not getting Terry McLaurin. He's going to work it out with Washington, and even if he doesn't, he's not coming here. So I don't see a one-for-one deal on that front in any way whatsoever. I expect Diggs to be a full participant in camp and in the season in general. I expect him to be a big participant. You got Drake Mays getting all these guys together, which we love. We love seeing this stuff. These guys, like, this kid is trying so hard to be a leader of the team, own the team, and he's doing it. He's out there with what? He's got Pop Douglas, Jalen Polk, he's got Kyle Williams, he's got Hunter Henry, he's got Steph Diggs, he's got Bourne out there, Dobbs is an extra arm throwing, he's got Ramondre Stevenson out there. So these guys are putting in the extra work on their vacation time, and you have to love that. Building up that chemistry. I don't even know if all these guys are going to end up making the final team, but just the fact that he's doing it, building up the camaraderie and the chemistry with guys that are going to be there, I think it speaks volumes to the growth of Drake Maye as an overall leader and a quarterback. So it gives me good vibes on that end. Just as long as Stiggs keeps his nose clean, theoretically, practically, in all of the ways, then I think we'll be all right. So, yeah, is he a wild card? Yes, he's absolutely a wild card, but I have an optimistic approach towards it. I think it's going to work out pretty good.
And that's baked into his price, right? We've talked about his contract.
It's so incentive-laden.
It's all baked in there, right? So you know what you're getting. You're paying for it. And is he the prime talent that he was years ago? No. But we don't need him to be as well. Josh McDaniels has proven that he's going to get whatever he can out of all these guys. And it's all of these guys. It's not one more than the other. And so what we've desperately missed, and I don't know if anyone's been watching Patriots football in the last few years, is people with sure hands that can run routes and get open.
No.
It's really this not much. I mean, you don't have to be this complete lid lifter, yak monster. Like, you don't have to be all these things.
Just
right now,
get separation and catch the ball.
Get a little separation. Know that the biggest thing has been knowing the playbook, knowing the offense, and actually Diggs talked about that. I think he was on a jet and he was talking about, I need to know what I'm doing. I need to know what this guy next to me is doing, and I need to be able to get myself open or get him open. That's it. I mean, that's it. But I have to know the terminology, and then I have to know the coverages. So he's saying all the right things. And as much people want to think he's a kind of a jerk and maybe his head's not in the game, he's a very studious guy when he talks about the game. You can tell.
I think he works.
He works at both aspects of the game. He works the physical, obviously. I mean, we've seen that, ad nauseum at this point.
The clips I see of him, he's ready to go today. I don't care what anybody says.
Exactly.
That guy's cutting on a dime, and this Josh McDaniels offense thrives on guys that can gain, I say it every week, the gain separation at the top of their stem. He is that guy right there. Kyle Williams is that guy right there. That's why those guys are going to eat in this particular offense. So Stephon Diggs is not only a good player, but he's an excellent, if not perfect, fit in this offense. So unless anything monumental happens, I expect him putting up decent numbers. And again, with the McDaniels offense, it's designed to spread the ball around.
Yep.
So you saw how many people Brady would throw to on a game-to-game basis, 9 guys, 10 guys. This could be the same type of thing because it's read, okay, next, read, next, read, next, read, next. And it's you always have an answer to whatever problem. If then. He has all of those things. So Drake knows where to go automatically if that thing breaks down. And we haven't had that in the past. Alex Van Pelt, like, I liked him, but he was just he was coaching with his pants down.
Yeah. Oh, 100%.
And then before that, when you had Matt Patricia and Joe Judge running the offense.
No, we've had no semblance of anything. That resembles an offense, anything that resembles...
Yeah, the poor offensive guys were like, okay, but if then what? They're like, we haven't got to that yet. If we get if we get to that in the game, then we'll figure it out then. It's like, you won't, and you never did.
Exactly.
So this kid and this receiver core as a whole is set up for success. So it's a pretty good thing to see these guys getting on the same page.
Yeah, I think as long as he keeps his head on straight, and that's a big if. And as long as, it seems like he's going to be hopefully that, that dog that we've been looking for in the wide receiver room that really pushes and steps the competition up. And that's all I care about. I don't care if he's yelling at people. I don't care if he wants more targets. Great. I mean, be a guy that's in the locker room and it's on the sideline, making sure everyone knows, hey, I'm going to be as turned up as I can be. And everyone has to get on that same page.
As long as he's producing and he has a good attitude about it, can't really ask for much more than that.
So I think it's just a lot of, he's going to get traded, he's going to get this. We're going to keep hearing that also. Anytime any little thing happens, he broke up with Cardi B, he partied, he went to the Met Gala, he went to wherever he did. I think it's all kind of a snooze fest to me, to be honest.
It is. And, again, it's only 2 weeks till training camp.
That's it.
So we're going to see the product on the field, and then we'll be able to make proper evaluations then instead of all the speculative nonsense. But it's only a couple more weeks, Joe.
It's coming.
It's only a couple more weeks.
It's coming, and it's coming fast.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so why don't we get into the next topic here? So we got the second-round pick conundrum. So this all started with Nick Caserio and the Texans and Jaden Higgins, right? Tell me a little bit about the story, Mike.
Yes, it's pretty well known by now what the Texans did as far as giving Jaden Higgins that guaranteed money, the first ever second-round contract to get fully guaranteed. It was 4 years, $11.7 million, so that's a good chunk of change for a second-rounder. And he completely broke the model by doing that because now everybody else is going to expect the same thing. The Browns basically had to backtrack and do that with Carson Schweschinger.
Yeah.
Yes, the kid that was drafted at 33 right before Jaden Higgins. They basically had to do that. So now the Browns and the Texans are messing everybody up behind them because everybody in the second round obviously wants to get paid guaranteed money now that they get this. Do they all deserve it? Absolutely not. Do they have the right to feel if they do?
Yeah,
yes.
The precedence was set. I mean, once you set a precedence, that's it. Now it's going forward. Forget it.
And
not just this year, next year.
It really affects us. Travion Henderson's our only guy that's unsigned. You don't want him unsigned going into camp because then he's not going to be able to participate. He needs to be, like, the OTAs are one thing, but he needs to be under contract in order to actually show up and report and
get
play.
Tackled.
Yeah, exactly. Pretty much exactly. So it affects us in a big way because we need the guy, and we're really looking forward to what he has to offer. So what it looks like to me, the way that the board is falling here, is that everybody's waiting to see what Tyler Shoug's going to do, or Tyler Shug, or Tyler Show.
I think it's Shough. Yeah, let's go with Shough.
However,
let's just land on Shough.
Yeah, however you want to say it, Tyler Shough. He got drafted number 40 out of Louisville by the Saints, and he has already basically They made no bones about the fact that he expects himself to be the starter right off the bat. Like, this guy is talking a lot of talk, and he's mad. First of all, he's 26 years old, and I talked to you about it earlier about how he was mad that he missed the NIL thing at the beginning of his career. So now he's trying to like make up for that now. This is just a poor, unprofessional way to start a career off.
Oh, it's terrible. I mean, you're in between a rock and a hard place. I get it. But at the end of the day, at that position and starting that young with, hey, me,
he hasn't even won the job yet.
Yeah, it doesn't look good, right? So I do blame Nick Caserio, and I blame the Texans for this one because
Caserio, I never thought he was a great personnel man when he was with us for 20 some odd years, and then he goes over here and blows up the mold. Screw him. He's out.
I agree.
I'm out on Caserio.
But yeah, we need Travion signed. We need him in camp, fully participating. We can't have him off to the side doing, cardio and whatever else he's going to do on the sideline without, hitting people and showing, hey, I can make it at multiple levels. I wouldn't doubt if they had him returning kicks and doing all kinds of stuff, especially at training camp.
He could be a complete Swiss Army knife for that offense, which is why we need him in camp. So, to me, it looks like everybody's waiting to see what the Saints are going to do with this quarterback. There's a couple other guys that you got to worry about. Nick Emmanwori, the safety out of South Carolina. He went to Seattle with 35. I heard that he's kind of making the same demand.
Judkins, Luther Burden. I mean, there's some high-profile guys that were like fringe first-round picks that are probably, like you said, in the same boat.
So they're like, well, we're top of the second. That's basically a first-round pick.
Exactly.
So he got his money. We want our money now too. So,
and I don't blame him, guys. I mean, let's talk brass tacks.
I don't blame
here.
the players, man. I mean, you try to get what you can when
Once
you
that
can.
bar gets set, it's impossible to say, well, I guess I'll just take a non-guaranteed contract. I mean, these guys are here to make money. It's the not for long league, right? You're not going to be in the NFL that long. You got to get it while you can, and especially guys who missed a lot of the big nil deals, they're looking at it and saying, "Oh, geez, did I make a mistake here? Should I have stayed in college? Should I have done?" Like a million different things go through their heads that they would have had guaranteed money. So it is what it is.
It is what it is. I still blame Caserio, that jag. And I'm not even going to talk about the Browns front office because their front office is a joke from front to back and always has
Although
been.
they did fleece the Jaguars. You got to give them that. That was their one win that they might have. Even though they drafted two quarterbacks, I don't get that. They both of them might be bums, but anyways.
It's a mess. It's a mess over in Cleveland over there. So I have no sympathy for them. It's a mess in Jacksonville. They traded a king's ransom for Travis Hunter. Travis Kelce came up with a great analogy. Well, not really an analogy, but a strategy on a podcast this week. He said, it's very easy. When he's on defense, just wear him out. Run fly routes, run go routes, run deep overs, even if it's a running play, run him 30, 40 yards down the field. Make him think that you're going deep every single time.
Oh, yeah.
You're going to gas that guy, and he's not going to be as effective on offense. And it's like, it sounds so simple, but nobody's really even said it at all through the whole draft process and everything. But he made it sound so simple and clear. Just attack him constantly on defense,
and then guess what? When he comes on offense,
he's going to be spent. So I thought that was a great. And I'm not a Chiefs or Travis Kelce guy, but I thought that was a great point that he made about that. So I thought,
let alone the injury stuff, right? It's like, let alone the amount of snaps. Like, I can only imagine the
he's
data.
A slight guy. He's like 6'1" to 180, I think.
Right.
About 180.
But just think of like the data around increased snaps beyond a certain amount and what your probability of injury is, right? It's got to be, pretty exponentially
higher,
right?
Yeah.
So it's like you put him on the field long enough, and guess what? You're going to get hurt.
He's either going to get hurt or they're going to have to make a decision, and I think it's going to happen sooner rather than later. And and the reason why I said it before the draft, why I didn't want him, no matter what role he ends up with, he's not going to be satisfied with it. He's going to want more of something on one side or the other. So that's why I wouldn't have touched him with a 10-foot pole. This kid, James Gladstone, the GM of the Jags, I swear to God, this kid looks like he just got out of high school or is like just a college graduate.
It doesn't look right, yeah.
He's a young kid. Their coach, Liam Cohen, who is from Warwick, Rhode Island. He went to Hendricken, right down the street from me. So I want to see him succeed as a head coach, but I don't have any faith in that front office or that coaching staff or that personnel. And that's really the most time I'm going to spend on the Jaguars.
Well, we're going to spend a little more time because they're. If
Oh,
you
that's
look at
right,
the
that's right.
playoff odds, which is our next topic. A lot of people have teams like the Jaguars, the Colts, the Steelers. Okay, Mike Tomlin and everything. I get it, but some of these teams, the Dolphins, ahead of us as far as playoff odds, and I get it. We're using the past to predict the future and, head coaches, and I got it. But I just, looking at their schedules, looking at our team and the way they're composed and the trajectory of the teams, I mean, Mike, do you want to give us the list here?
So we're talking about the AFC only. And out of 16 teams, they have us at 12 at 32%. Which, I would probably have them a little bit slightly higher than that. But then there's other things here that make just no sense to me at all. Like you said, the Jags at 37.4%. So they're projected to make the playoffs more than we are. And so are the Colts at 36.9%. Get out.
Bananas.
Get out.
Banana land, dude.
Get out with the Colts. What do the Colts have? The Colts have nothing. They have a running back. That's what they have.
They have two running backs. One of them plays quarterback.
Yeah, exactly. And he probably won't win the starting job if you're talking about Anthony Richardson. I think it's going to be Daniel Jones' show over there, and that's not anything great either.
We've seen that show, and it's not pretty. And so, yes, the accuracy's there a little more with Daniel Jones, but we know he makes some very bonehead throws, and he's not a starter. Let's face it, he's not an NFL starter. He's a bridge at best.
Yeah, you got. All right, so this is where I'm going to go on my little rant.
I like it.
Okay,
go on the rant
about the Steelers. They got the Steelers with the 8th best odds at 39.5%, making the playoffs over teams such as the Dolphins, the Jags, the Patriots, etc., etc. What have the Steelers done? What have they done?
I would argue gotten worse.
DK Metcalf is a one-trick pony. I've been saying it since the dawn of mankind.
And they have nobody else outside of Pat Fryermuth to throw to. They brought in Jonnu Smith, right?
Who I can't stand that guy. He was a front runner when we signed him here. He did absolutely nothing. He had one good season in Atlanta and one good season here.
Dolphins. The Dolphins, obviously, where he came, he had a good season.
Yeah, he had a great season, but now
they force fed him, and
but now he's like wanting to get paid like the highest tight end in the league. Get on with that, okay? Just go right ahead, and that leads into how dumb the Dolphins are too. But as far as the Steelers. You get Aaron Rodgers and DK Metcalf. Does that sound like an imposing 1-2 punch to you?
No. It's nothing that scares me from a comparative team perspective, especially because, let's face it, DK Metcalf is out of the game. Once you put Gonzo on him or Carlton Davis or whoever at
and
that
he's
point,
not a cerebral player. Aaron Rodgers needs a guy that understands option routes. This man does not know that.
He's not Devontae Adams. He's not Devontae Adams.
This is like last year why Mike Williams hated playing for the Jets because Aaron Rodgers was like, why'd you get picked off? He's like, well, Mike Williams ran the wrong route. He's like, he was supposed to run the red line, which is like a line in practice up the seam.
Yeah.
It's not on the actual football field during game days, but he's like, he was supposed to be on the red line. He wasn't on the red line. I'm like, Aaron, you're a pretty good improv guy. You probably could have worked that one out. You know what I mean?
Right,
and then Mike Williams got out of there. And he's like, that was the worst year of football I've ever had in my entire life. And now everybody on the Jets is like, there's just this whole new sense of energy and optimism here, even though I think they're going to be terrible.
Right.
But they still have like energy and optimism, and that was sapped of them last year with Rodgers. And it's it's going to be the same damn thing with him here. And, they take on a Jalen Ramsey, who I think is washed.
I think
and
so.
I don't know how what kind of fit it is, but they gave up Minka Fitzpatrick, who wanted out of Miami drafted him and he wanted out, and so they traded him, and he's had a great career with the Steelers. Now they're trading him back. Now I don't know if he signed off. I'm sure the guy doesn't have a no trade clause or anything,
right.
But he can't be super happy about going back to the Dolphins, especially because they're just shedding people left and right.
He'll probably get traded again midseason. It's not even
probably
he may not even play a game in for the Dolphins for all I know.
The whole thing about all this is I respect Mike Tomlin. He's one of the most respected coaches in the league. So that's why they're getting
That's
this
the bump.
pass.
That's the bump. They're getting the bump because of Mike Tomlin.
That happened with us when Belichick would sign some stupid guy. They'd be like, well, he's won rings and he's done it for us.
Yeah.
So, let's see how it plays out. He obviously has a plan. And guess what? He rarely had a plan toward the end. It rarely worked out.
But it's still like the biggest head scratcher to me because, they have Miami at 38%. And I think Miami has the offensive ability, and
they do have weapons.
They do have weapons, and so if everything clicks and people are healthy and Tyreek stays and all these ifs, they've proven that they can do it. Kind of like a crappier version of the Bengals, right? Like they can put up points, they can beat bad teams.
That's a pretty good comparison. A poor man's Bengals offense, basically at this point.
A poor man's Bengals offense. Defense is very questionable. But the Jaguars. Come on, man. They got a whole new system going on over there.
And they don't have a lot of talent.
Trevor
either.
Lawrence really hasn't shown much.
Nope.
I think he's a poor man's Drake May. That's my next comparison there. And then you got ETN, who I think could bounce back under Liam Cohen. They drafted, Bashal Tutton. They obviously drafted, I think, probably one of, I don't know, is he the best rookie receiver from last year, and Brian Thomas Jr.?
Yes.
I'll
give them that one.
Which is crazy that he lasted that long.
He's a beast.
But then you gave up the house for Travis Hunter. So, could they be another electric offense? Absolutely. But I still like our answers to them. I like our answers to the Jaguars. Now, that's not what this is about, right? This is about making the playoffs. But I don't know. I look at these rosters, and like
the Colts and Jaguars don't have a better roster than the Patriots. I'm sorry.
No way.
I don't care.
Not a chance. When you look at the offense, okay, I can see why the Jaguars, the Colts have Jonathan Taylor, they have Michael Pittman, they drafted I think another receiver, Josh Downs. They have Donnie Mitchell, Alec Pierce.
Yeah.
I mean, they got some players, right?
Yeah.
But they're not blowing the doors off of people by any means, especially with their quarterback play.
Yeah.
But the Jaguars defense and the Colts defense, I'm sorry.
Gross.
The if I'm putting money on playoff odds, I'm probably putting it on, is the offense capable enough to put up enough points where the defense is going to hold them below a certain number and the offense is going to put them above that number. And for me, the Patriots are better than all these teams all these teams all the way up to the Broncos. That's where I start. That's where we start to be like, all right, we're not in that category yet.
I'm kind of high on. I don't like the Broncos, but I'm kind of high on them. I think they have a good team.
I think that they're putting it all together, and it's coming very quickly. Like this year or next, they could really challenge the AFC.
Yeah, I don't have a lot of criticism for what they do over there.
No, but everything below that seems like it's a bump based on either prior performance, which we know the Miami Dolphins could be a 10-11 win team, but
or
they also
future
could be
projection.
Right, right. And so they're taking a lot of stuff from the past and bringing it forward. Whereas you and I are looking at the current rosters and the current coaches and the current situations, and we're saying, yeah, if we're going to base off that, then no way.
I'm much more confident in our coaching staff than many of these teams on this list here that are right around in our same area.
Exactly.
The one thing they did get right is the teams after us, the Raiders, Titans, Jets, and Browns. They have the Browns at 9.7%. That sounds about right.
Yeah.
Jets at 13%. Titans at 15%, Raiders at 23%. Sounds about right. Guess what? Don't we play every single one of those teams?
Exactly.
So, it doesn't really strike fear into the heart of me. And even more so because of our strength of schedule, we should be getting a little bit more of a benefit of the doubt because of the teams that we are playing.
100%.
But I get, some people they have to put stock into, well, let's see when the regular season starts and we'll make our assessments then. But you're making your assessment now.
We got 4 wins guaranteed. I'm sorry.
I would think so.
We got 4 wins in in the AFC East guaranteed. We're going to lose, let's say 3 guaranteed. 3 guaranteed. I think 4, because I think we're going to end up splitting with the Bills, crazy as that sounds. And I think we're just going to roll the Dolphins and the Jets.
Well, I got them at 10-7. You have them at 11-6.
Yeah.
So yeah, we think all those teams we just mentioned. I'm pretty sure that we are going to roll all of them.
3 wins 100% guaranteed. Like it's not even close.
And the reason why I even bring up the Steelers, which started this whole thing, is because we have them in week 3, and now all of a sudden the lines are moving, and people are thinking they're just going to trounce us, and I'm like...
No, we counted on Aaron Rodgers. We counted on that anyway. So it's like, okay, you brought in Jonnu Smith, you lost Minkah Fitzpatrick, and you gained Ramsey. I think that's a loss.
I have no fear.
I take the back end being solid versus Ramsey, who's kind of washed, I think.
I'd keep Fitzpatrick.
I
to
keep
be honest.
Fitzpatrick all day long. So yeah, I don't know. I'm not scared off at all, to be honest.
No, and we've been talking about like this is the week of the backtrack, right? With certain members in the community.
Oh yeah.
Because a lot of us and we're fans, first of all right, and a lot of fans are optimistic. Fans have reason for optimism. There's plenty that I could list off. We've been listing them off since we started this podcast. I'm not going to go through the list of 30 things, which we think we have in our favor. But everybody was liking everything that was happening. But now it's the off season where
it's slowing down.
It's the window here where there's nothing to do. So now everybody's backtracking and saying, well, wait a minute now. And to me, you're just overthinking it at that point.
Well,
you really just are.
And it's slowing down, and you're reading other things, and you're kind of thinking, well, I was so happy. I was riding the high. And I think people are now like, oh, let's pump the brakes.
Yeah, the line's going down. The line's at like 8.5 over under. People are taking the under. If we win under 8.5 games this year, this season is an unmitigated disaster.
I agree.
Okay, it's not a rebuilding year; it's a rebooting year. Vrabel has his system in place. He's got his squad in place. How all that comes together remains to be seen. But on paper, and everybody's doing all their projections and information and anything they want to say is on paper right now, or the tidbits of workouts that we get to see. So on paper, I'm going to stick with mine and saying that we're going to sneak in. And I really don't care what the Steelers do, because I'm less afraid of them now than I was before, because I know what Aaron Rodgers is and I know what DK and Metcalf is. They're still going to have a good defense. They're still going to have a good running game, but they just don't scare me at all.
I don't believe they're going to get over that 8, 9, 10 win hump to be able to make any kind of noise. I mean, if they sneak into the playoffs, it would be a miracle, in my opinion.
We've gone ad nauseum about how just because we've had Bill, you can pencil in a win or two or something like that, and you can do that with this Pittsburgh team, but just not when they play us. I think we have it. I think we have it on them. So we don't like 32%. I would handicap them more to like toward a 40%. I'm not going to go insane, but I think 40% would be like they should totally leapfrog the Colts, the Jags, the Steelers, and possibly the Dolphins on this list.
They're right around where the Dolphins are, let's be honest. Yeah. They're right around that 38, 39%.
Those trajectories are going in different ways.
Yeah,
too.
and that's all that this is them giving them the nod to what they've done in the past and their current situations. And, I don't know how much they're looking at their schedules. Clearly not a ton. But, to me, it is what it is. I don't mind being the underdog. I don't mind being a team that's slept on. I think even a lot of Patriots Twitter is even sleeping on this offense.
Big time.
I think that's a common theme right now, which is, who do we have? We have, we don't have big name receivers. We don't have this, that. When it comes down to it, we have a collection of players that can't all be bad, right? We have Stephon Diggs, we have Kyle Williams, we have Hunter Henry, we have Ramondre, who lost some weight. Maybe that helps him out. Maybe that makes him a little better in the passing game. When he catches the ball, he's a little not as stuck in the mud as he normally is. Antonio Gibson is a stud, in my opinion. Granted, he's a second back. He's not a premier, first down back.
But he's a great all-around backup.
But he's a slippery guy, and he gets big gains. And then you got Travion, and then you got all these other guys that are, possible players that can make the team. Afton Chisholm. I mean, he's going to play some snaps. He's going to play the game.
You knew we were going to mention him.
We're going to mention him. And then you got guys like Lan Larison, Brock Lampy. You got these guys that are going to be role players, but they're going to be key. I'm really excited about Brock Lampy. I think, his element of pass catching and blocking, the best non-lineman blocker in all of college football. I mean, I feel like this offense has the ability. And if one or two of these things fail, there's still other things, right? It's not like, we don't have Justin Jefferson. Oh, sorry, we're not one of those teams.
We're not going to need him, though.
But we don't, exactly. For anyone who knows how Josh McDaniels wins football games, it's not with Justin Jefferson. It's not even with Randy Moss. I mean, it's really there's a collection of guys that'll play the game and that will know the system, will know, like Mike said, option A, B, C, D, all the way down to G.
Option routes, dinkers and dunkers. That's why we think a guy like Efton Chisholm can make the team, because his separation at his break is just absolutely elite for any division.
And I don't care if there's pads, if there's no pads, if there's socks, if there's blindfolded. I don't care what it is. If
you can smoke somebody out of their socks, you can smoke them.
These guys have been playing padded football their whole life. The whole pads, put the pads on. It's a kind of a cop-out to me. It's like plant your flag. Either you like the guy or you don't. And yeah, people don't want to look stupid. I get it. Maybe he'll get hurt and we won't see him again for years or a year or whatever. But to me, I've seen enough of his college tape. I've seen a lot what these guys can do, and I've seen where guys succeed in this offense. And
Indeed.
I think that's where we're planting our flag and saying, hey, we're not backing off. Why would we back off at this point?
I mean, I don't want to go nuts, but like a Wes Welker comes to mind. He was an undrafted guy. Danny Amendola comes to mind, and Edelman comes to mind. We're not saying he's that. We're saying he has those movement type of skills within the inside of the offense to operate Josh McDaniels' system perfectly. And it is based off of option routes and leverage. You have to know when you're approaching your stem what your defender's tendency is going to be, and you do the opposite of that. And that's why you talk to your quarterback in rooms all the damn time about if he does this, if he shades you that way, go back the other way. But if he shades you that way in a different way, fake and then still go that way, because he's trying to fake you out.
Right.
So it's like a move against a move against a double move against a double move. And these kids, Efton Chisholm has it in spades, and you need a guy like that in this offense to thrive.
And Diggs just had that clip where he was talking about exactly
and he can
that.
do that.
He can do that. He reads defenses. He understands option routes. He understands, okay, I'm not going to be open because I can see what they're doing. But
he's a leverage master.
Yeah, I'm going to make sure that I get this other guy next to me open because I know the route that he's running. So if I go here and I give him this outside space, then he's going to take it. And guess what? They either take that and cover him, or now they're going to leave me open. And great, have fun.
It's the spatial awareness element. The past couple, especially last year, you saw Drake throw to an area where there were two Patriots.
Yep.
You're not going to be seeing that a whole lot this year.
Exactly.
Because of the spatial awareness and the understanding of when to sit down in the zone and when to keep running. And by man is the same token. You still have to have spatial awareness compared to where your guy is. I would be very surprised to see guys get crossed up on routes and end up in the same place this year. I really hope I'm right about that. I mean, there might be some cross-ups and stuff like that, but you're just not going to see it that much because the guys are going to know what to do because they're talking to Josh McDaniels and Drake Maye so much about what to do in every possible situation.
Yeah, and I think the other thing that people need to, with the whole pump the brakes and this was a 4-win team, I think we have to realize that this team only has to get marginally better in a few key areas. We're talking offensive line, which no one will argue that the offensive line is not better. How much better is it? Are we still towards the bottom 5?
It's got to be better than last year.
Right, it's got to be better than last year, which I don't think it's possible for it to be worse than last year. That's not possible. Unless someone gets hurt or unless something bad happens. My anticipation is we're going to be closer to the middle of the pack line-wise. So now you're getting Drake Maye an extra second, an extra half second, whatever that is.
It makes all the difference in the world.
That is the difference, folks. And then you have some key players on offense. Travion Henderson, right? He could be rookie of the year. He could be. It's not out of the realm of possibilities.
He's got to sign.
He's got to sign, obviously. But then you have plenty of other guys that can step into these roles and that are electric, right? If one of these guys pans out on offense, that our offense will be better. Flat out.
And we haven't talked about our boy Lan.
Right.
Lan Larison.
And then you got guys like Lan Larison who could be a great role player on special teams. He could get some snaps on offense. So that's the offense, right? Everyone's poo-pooing the offense. Oh, who's going to be scared of us? I think a lot of teams could end up being scared of us by the midseason.
And I like what you said about Lampy. I love McDaniels bringing back the fullback to the offense.
Oh, yeah.
I love it. We've talked about him. You look at his arms. I mean, the guy is just
Looks like Brock Lesnar. He looks like smaller Brock Lesnar.
He's a friggin' cannon. He's like shot out of a. You watch clips of him. We've shown clips of the guy blocking from all different formations. Do you want, even if you're a linebacker, do you want that guy coming after you with a full head of steam?
With a crack block?
So, yeah, like that's gonna hurt you, all right, and it's gonna move you off your spot. So
all right, so I'm keeping this train of thought going, right? So you have the offense getting marginally better, right? At the very least, marginally better. Now the defense, you bring in Carlton Davis, you bring in Milton Williams.
It's more than marginal.
Please.
Yeah.
So like everyone that wants to poo-poo the Patriots and wants to say, oh, we're being pragmatic, we're doing this, we're doing that. I'm not into it. This is not the time right now to be pragmatic. This is not the time. This is the time to say, look at this team. Have we gotten better on both sides of the ball? Yes. Have we gotten better in the trenches? Yes. Has our coverage gotten better, which I didn't think we were going to bring in somebody like Carlton Davis? Yes. And our coaches are better. So it's like, guys, I know everyone wants to sound like the smartest man in the room, but at times you have to, this is a time to really look at it and say, this team is a 9-win floor team, in my opinion. I will stand on that in front of anybody.
And the defense, and again, it's on paper, but it looks like a top 5 defense in the league on paper. And surprisingly enough, PFF ranked our linebacking group third.
That's amazing.
They always poo-poo us. I was incredibly surprised that they did that,
right,
because they understand the scheme. It's going to be Christian Ellis, Robert Spillane, and Jack Gibbons. Those 3 guys are going to be the core of that, and they understand the trend of the defense getting younger and faster to stop the pass. But then we're also going to have a guy like Jelani Tavai in there. If he stays on the team, I'm surprised he's still on the team, to be honest, because he doesn't fit the mold. But if you need an early down thumper and he's still on the team, you have that guy, so that would be good.
I even like Chason. I like Clavon. I've been watching him, a lot of his workouts and stuff. I mean, he looks like he's put on weight. He looks fast.
Yeah. I mean, he's an edge guy. He's going to be like a situational edge guy, but he does stand up sometimes,
I think we have a lot of depth, and I think one thing that would put us over the edge completely is obviously a Trey Hendrickson trade. Or
that would be nice. One more proven pass rusher would be nice.
There was another person I was thinking of that I can't think of, but essentially, if we locked up that position to the point where you had someone that was like a complete, as Divish says, a bucket getter.
Yeah.
To me, I think that would put us over that top.
We need a third down rusher. Because both Harold Landry and Keon White. Those are early down guys. Harold Landry's excellent against the run, as is Keon White. Keon White reduces in on rushing plays, and Landry stays on the outside. He just doesn't have a great arsenal of skills to bend around that edge.
And that's why you drafted Braden Swinson.
Braden Swinson.
But will he be able to do that year one?
There you go.
And so this is where a Trey Hendrickson and TJ Watt, which I don't think that's happening at all.
No way, man.
But,
$45 million a year?
Yeah, I don't see it happening.
I don't think so.
This is where I don't even care about that, because we have the guys for now that can compete now, and then we have the guys that I think for the future are there as well in this roster. And so, yeah, we don't, again, go back to the Justin Jefferson. We don't have Jamar Chase. We don't have these guys. But that's not necessarily what wins championships. And we saw what the Eagles did last year, right? That defense, first of all, Saquon Barkley ran over the whole league
they had 2 stud wide receivers that they didn't even need.
Barely used, right? And then the defense, let's be honest, all
went nuts.
The pressure up the middle from Milton Williams and Jalen Carter, that is what won them the Super Bowl.
And Zach Bond, that guy turned into a monster at linebacker.
Yeah, and so, that roster was probably will never happen again. That was the most ridiculous top-to-bottom roster I've ever seen in the Super Bowl era. I mean, what they were able to put together with the salary cap is unbelievable. That's why clearly a bunch of the guys left and got paid, because they knew it.
They're good at it.
But
they're good at what they do over there. We're chasing the Eagles model is basically what we're chasing.
But we are not pumping the brakes.
No,
we're not doing it.
Not at all. Not at all. I still have him as 10-7. He still has him as 11-6. Yeah.
Foot on the gas, boys.
So
let's go.
We got them sneaking into a number 7 seed or maybe a number 6 seed. We're going to stick to that, and we're probably going to improve upon that when we are so impressed with training camp and what happens in training camp.
I'm telling you, man, it's going to be it's been the best off season I've ever seen.
So come to training camp. You'll see us wandering around like a bunch of lunatics with our cameras and our microphones. So if you see two guys that look like us that are doing that, feel free to come in and have a chat. We'd love to hear what you have to say.
Yes, we will definitely be there. We will have a lanyard or lapel mics. We're going to be...
Oh, we're going to have lanyards, Joe.
Lanyards. We're going to have all kinds of stuff. Mike and I were like, we'll be fake media people.
Indeed.
If we get kicked
That's on the
out,
hush.
we'll
That's on the hush.
Yeah.
Nobody knows that yet.
But all right, well, thank you guys for tuning in. This has been a great episode. Next week, I'm not sure. I know Fitzy will be on in the next coming weeks. We're going to have a fun episode with him.
Shout out Fitzy for using our graphics on one of his posts.
Use my Land Larson and Travion Henderson picture. Great. I love the exposure. Although I wish he called me out on it. But no, thank you guys for tuning in. As always, we're on Spotify. We're on Apple Podcasts. We're on YouTube. We're all over the place at this point. And if you want swag, I mean, I actually didn't add it to the link tree, but I will. And I will actually make sure I post it into all the comments of these videos so that everyone gets to it. But if you want to support us, yes, they're a little bit of expensive T-shirts. But if you're in the New England area, come to Rogue Island. I'm telling you, you will be blown away by the food, by the drinks, the atmosphere in general. It's right in the heart of Providence, and the arcade, which is the oldest mall in America. It looks kind of like the White House.
It's called Rogue Island. I know it gets people confused because it's a play on Rhode Island, but it's rogue, like a pirate, like that type of rogue.
Which was actually
Island.
the nickname of Rhode Island when it first was formed.
Exactly.
There was a lot of pirates in the area, and there's a lot of,
Newport in the 1700s was a hotbed of pirate activity.
That's it. Exactly.
That's a story for our historical podcast that we'll be doing sometime when I'm about 90.
There we go.
For right now, we're going to stick to the Patriots.
We will pontificate about pirates.
Indeed.
All right, guys. Well, thank you for tuning in. The 13th episode is in the books, and we look forward to talking to you next week. And training camp is coming.
It's coming. So's the swag. Let's go, baby. Let's go, baby. LFG.
Heck yeah.
We'll see you at training camp.